Howdy, Shasta College. How you doing out there? It's winter. Here we are, Monday, first week in March. Um, how your papers coming? When you look at the instructions on the papers, what I'm looking for is not their biographies. Um, that's not why they matter. These people, these artists, these great people. What matters is the art they created. So focus on that. Uh, Shakespeare, Rembrandt, all the people you're writing about. Now, I changed it up on the William Blake thing because I wanted you guys to look at an actual work, a short work, and kind of interpret that the best you can. There's no right or wrong. It's just how you feel about it. And but to stumble through and say I don't understand is not what I'm talking about. Do understand. Try to understand it. Look at the criticism online. Look at the Spark Notes. Wherever you can find information on that poem, and there's a lot out there, will help explain the poem and will help you understand it. Just because the language is hard and difficult, it doesn't mean it doesn't have a feeling, an emotional grip, a humanness to it, but it is poetry. And so that's the kind of difficult language of poetry. But when you break through to it, it rewards a lot. So don't be afraid of stumbling over what you think it means. I'm not judging you in your paper on if you're right or wrong. I just want to see you thinking about it, trying to interpret it the best you know how. And then if you use outside sources, of course, you got to put those on the works cited page. And I hope you do research on it, not just look at that poem on its own, because it's it's not that easy going. And that's why I signed it. Now this week, well, we'll see. I got to catch up on my grading. I have been ill, as you well know. I'm getting better. Um, so I'm a little behind on the grading. Keep having patience. Thank you. I'll start another discussion this week. I'm not sure I'm going to sign another essay this week because this week and into next week, we're going to be talking about 20th century painters. And that, well, it's going to start in the 19th century with Van Gogh because he's kind of the godfather of what we might consider modern painters. And then we're going to go into Picasso, Pablo Picasso, Frida Kahlo from Mexico, Andy Warhol. Maybe you've heard of these people. Jackson Pollock, actually Gorky. These are people that changed art in the 20th century. But it kind of all started with Van Gogh in the poor guy who committed suicide and never sold a painting. And he only sold one painting in his lifetime, and that was to his brother who believed in him. But he was paranoid and schizophrenic in and out of mental institutions. Even then, they put him on this other drug. They did a lot of mercury things in those days. It probably didn't do any good, probably helped make him worse. But that's the best they could do in those days before modern medicine and Freud came along and started psychoanalyzing people. This is before that. And then we go into the 20th century, and we have to do a large section on Picasso. You may think you know a little bit of Picasso, maybe seen something. We're going to do a deep dive because he only changed everything there is to change through his art, not through where he was born or where he died, but his art. That's what matters. And that's what I'm trying to get the point across on this course. Why do these people matter? It was the art they made, the books they wrote, the plays they wrote, the movies they made, the music they make. This week, we're going to be going into 20th century authors. And hopefully, you know some of these things. Have you ever been to a museum, an art gallery opening? Does it sound boring? Something you don't want to do? San Francisco's got some great art museums, the Modern Art Museum, um, the De Young, world-class art. It would be great if we could all take a field trip, and the college pays for it. Because when you see the art on the walls, the actual painting itself, instead of in a picture in a book or online, it's a whole different deal. It's a whole different ball game. And I've seen so many of these works we're going to be talking about. I've seen Picasso's Guernica, which I saw it in Spain at the museum, Picasso Museum. And when you sit in front of it, you're in awe of what a human being is capable of. The symbolism, the uniqueness of it, the humanness of it, the terror of it. We're going to be talking about Guernica. Maybe we'll write a paper about it. We'll see what I feel like. Anyway, these things really need to be experienced in person. If you ever get to go, I mean, San Francisco's got some world-class museums. Um, Portland's got some nice stuff up in Portland. The stuff is around, but you got to go to it. Sacramento, they have the Crocker Museum, which gets some first-class exhibitions. And when you see the stuff in person, when you see a Jackson Pollock in person, you won't forget it. You will not forget it. And it alters you when you actually see the brush strokes. You see what they went through to do this. It's a whole different ball game than seeing a picture of it online or on some website. It's not the same. Sometimes they're bigger than you ever expected. Sometimes they're smaller. I saw a whole thing on Salvador Dali. I was shocked how small some of his paintings are. His famous paintings are this big. And yet he has some paintings that are so large, you can't see how he painted them close up. It's too close. They're so big that you can't see it. The process, the genius of it all, until you see it in person. I hope you get to do this one day in your life. It's worth seeking out. So 20th Century Painters is what we're going to do this week. I don't know what chapter is in the textbook. We're going to kind of put a moratorium on the textbook this week. I'm going to want to start a discussion. I'll start it today or tomorrow. And simply this: have you ever been to a museum? Have you ever been to a gallery opening? Are you an artist? Have you had your own opening? Do you paint? Do you sculpt? Do you do anything in the visual arts? Express it in the discussion. Remember, keep the discussions going. I'll post it later, not yet. I'll open the discussion later. Do participate. You do get marked off if you don't. Keep your papers coming in on time. You'll lose a point a day for every day they're late. After 3-4 days, what's the point of handing it in? You're gonna lose too many points. You could do it. I gave you guys plenty of time to do these papers. And I know the temptation is to start the paper the day it's due. That's not why I gave you a whole week to do it. You've got a whole week to research them, watch some documentaries, take notes, and get your stuff out there online on time. In a couple of weeks, we are going to have a quiz, but it's not for a while. Probably after the spring break, which I think is this month sometime. Anyway, I'm starting to slur my words again. On that happy note, things are getting better. It is winter out there. Be careful, stay warm, stay dry, and I'll see you soon. where the story of the arts to the 20th century continues.